The first thing I look at is a website. Do you have a website, first of all? If you do have a website, what is it built on? How does it work? Does it look all right? Are there, pictures and words all over the place? Is it mobile friendly? Can that website convert a potential patient who's going to be doing research on that practice or doctor? Can it turn it into, a phone call or form fill?
All right, guys, I am here with Connor from OBL Marketing. He is the head of their digital marketing department and one of my favorite people because I get to geek out with him and say the nerdy stuff that no one else gets. So Connor, how long have you been working in the OBL, IR space?
Yeah, about 5 years ago, we got connected with our first practice in Denver down the road from us, Echo Medical. And it was kind of new to us, the whole, concept of what an OBL is, what IRs do, and talking about, the different procedures that they do, the patients that they're trying to attract. And so working with Dr. Kowaleski and kind of ironing out the kinks of, what are the key search terms that patients are looking for? What do we need to have on those websites? We've been able to meet other doctors across the country and grow from there.
Now, it's funny because you and I get to work with a lot of the same people and a lot of personality types. When you meet with a doc, what is the first thing you want to look at when you're assessing their practice's digital footprint?
Yeah, the first thing I look at is a website. Do you have a website, first of all? If you do have a website, what is it built on? How does it work? Does it look all right? Are there, pictures and words all over the place? Is it mobile friendly? Can that website convert a potential patient who's going to be doing research on that practice or doctor? Can it turn it into a phone call or form fill? So looking at that, first of all.
What would you say is the biggest issue you see with most doctors' websites before you work with them?
Yeah, that's a good question. There's a lot of different things that could go wrong on a website. I think having it on a cheap platform that is just never going to work well, convert well, rank well, is a huge red flag and something that's pretty common. Another one that's common is having a website platform that you don't own. These doctors get into situations where they're renting a website forever versus just owning that website and the website files and being able to use that as sort of an asset for them and be able to take it with them, edit it freely, those kind of things.
Now, you said something about the platform. I know a lot of doctors I have a website, but I feel like the website should work for them, right? They should be able to see some tangible proof that it's doing something.
Yep, exactly. And that's the kind of thing that you get in a sticky situation if you went the cheap route, I would call it, and did a GoDaddy website or a Wix, Weebly cheap website builder that a niece or nephew put together for them versus having an actual, WordPress, Webflow, a nice site that has good code on the back end, good functionality, that Google's going to be able to kind of read the back end code of that site, different, and make it work for you. Exactly. Be able to rank in Google.
So you brought up Google, and I feel it's a good transition.
Yeah.
Obviously, I don't do Google ads. That's why I typically send them to you. But when people hear Google ads, everyone says, I want to do Google ads. What does that actually mean?
Yeah. Google ads is buying, a good way to think of it is buying real estate at the top of Google, for different keywords, search terms that we know that, potential patients are going to be looking for, whether that's, osteoarthritis. I've got knee pain knee pain treatment options near me. And then negative keywords too for, people that are just looking for a cream or, someone that's not going to be a qualified patient, but we're looking for someone that's at the bottom of the marketing funnel that we kind of talk about, someone that's looking for alternatives or different treatment options out there. And so we're able to kind of control what that page looks like with Google ads and buying that top spot there.
So let's say I've got an OBL, I've opened up and I want to start, running embolizations. What are the issues you see when people start this? They start doing their marketing, they start running Google ads and websites. Obviously, you can only do so much, but where do you see the issues in the OBL at this point?
Yeah, and I think, one of the things that we see is a big, thing that you always talk about, and it's that who's picking up the phone? How are doctors able to convert a patient, bring a patient in once they've gotten that phone call or form fill? That's a huge gap that I see in a lot of practices currently.
I think there's a weird, and I don't want to use the word entitlement, but there's a sense of someone fills out this form and it's I'll get to it, not realizing that's a person literally saying, I'm desperate,
Yes.
I'm hurting, I need help.
Out to
and
you.
if you don't get back to me, I'm going to find someone else.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, and I think you said it speed to lead, being able to get back quickly to that person, pick up the phone, call them, email them back, try to get in contact with them is just a huge missing piece.
Now, I think something you said earlier, and I think is huge, is like you guys really create the atmosphere. I mean, we kind of stick to meta and direct response, but even with that, I guarantee you, if we're working with one of your clients, they're going to get a better result even from our campaigns because that person's going to see the Facebook ad. And even if they fill out the form, then they're going to go to the website, they're going to Google it. And you guys make that person, I mean, you build trust and all that.
Yeah, there's a whole like online universe, like you kind of explained it, where there's not only the website, but just the whole Google sphere of like the Google business profile. I call them citation sites, your health grades, your vitals, your BBB, the Yelp, things that other places
The
where
yellow book.
the yellow books, the yellow pages, whatever you want to call it. There's a whole Rolodex of information about you as the doctor, your practice, that exists out there that needs to be controlled and organized for name, address, phone number, making sure that your information is, correct across the internet, that then, feeds back and ties back to the website. A lot of those sites, interlink with your website. So making sure that your whole ecosystem online is well put together, well organized is going to help you show up more and drive more traffic to your website.
Now, I know we're doing this as a short podcast, but I want to ask you, what are some issues you see with Google My Business? Because I feel like OBLs are either scared of it or they're wrong.
Yeah, there's a lot of things, and Google is always yes. Google's always changing the Google business profile too, along with all the other things that Google changes. So the Google business profile allows you to upload photos ongoing from even patients can upload photos in there. You're allowed to upload photos. So a lot of times that's just blank and it's just the Google map photo of a practice. There's no reviews in there is a huge one. It says be the first to leave a review. That's not a great look. Neither is, a 1 or 2 star review rating in there. Google allows you to fill in a ton of content in a Google business profile. They call it products and services. We're not selling products at these practices, but you're able to put in some good UFE content, PAE content, GAE content that then links back to those corresponding pages on the site. You can post ongoing like a social media. Google likes to think they're like Facebook where you're posting ongoing. And so if you appease Google in all these different ways, they, typically will reward you.
Have you ever had the client that didn't control their own Google My Business?
Yes. And that's a headache too of like, okay, well, in order to edit this, asset that you have online, this Google business profile, we need to get in there. And if you don't own that, I talked about owning your website. If you're not the admin email on that Google business profile, then it's really hard to get in there. There's ways around that and breaking in there and getting ownership changed. But you'd be surprised, people don't even know they have a profile out there or these reviews that are showing up.
So one thing I've seen with your guys' company I really like is I feel like there's, maybe it's not written out, but there's almost like a process and a timeline. Like you bring on a client, you go X, Y, Z. Talk to me like, what does that look like? If I'm an OBL and I come on and I want to hire you, what are the things you start to tackle over what time frame?
Yeah, definitely. And that communication, especially in the first 30 days, is huge for our team. So there is that onboarding kickoff meeting right at the start where you're meeting with myself, the rest of our team that's working on your website, on your search engine optimization, on your paid digital ads. So you're meeting with the rest of the team and we're getting those things like you just talked about. Make sure we have the Google business profile access. We've got website access. We have some of those passwords that we need to get started. And also just making sure that, we're on the same page with here's the procedures that are most important to us. Here's what we want to show up for and drive traffic for. And then, on our end, it gets started right away and rolling that out and setting up what I'd call the walls, the foundation of your online presence, and kind of getting a good structure built will help us, move quicker and see results faster as we, grow the traffic and start showing up more.
How long does it take for a website and your campaigns to really get traction and get feed in?
Yeah, that's always the $1 million question. I think it's, a good 3 to 6 month timeline is what you need to expect going into like a search engine, an SEO campaign, a search campaign. So being able to do the changes that need to be done on the website first, then in the first 30 days, we'll see, okay, these keywords are starting to pop. We're starting to get more impressions, eyeballs on the website, start to see some clicks. Month 2, it's a result of the work that was done the month before. It's not that quick hitter a lot of times, but it's a long-term, foundational strategy for any business or practice.
I think I said it earlier when we were talking today, but I really like the analogy. Like what we do with the Facebook generation, it's like dieting. If you want to lose weight, like you can lose weight in a week.
Yeah.
But if you want that physique that everyone's jealous of, you need to put time in the gym, and that won't show for a week or 2 or 3. But after 3 or 4 months plus dieting, you've got an awesome body that everyone's jealous of.
I love it. I love the analogy. And I think that, being able to, eat the right foods, see it in the gym, go and be consistent with the work that you're doing, and just, again, diversifying, doing, all the different things that are going to help you and your body long-term, your practice long-term, it's going to pay off.
So if someone wanted to find you and get more information about what you do, where can they find you at?
Yep. OBLmarketing.com.
I bet it's a good website.
It is. Yeah. Check it out. Let us know if you have any feedback. But yeah, OBLmarketing.com. My email is Connor at OBLmarketing.com, and you can call us from there.
Awesome. And guys, we'll link this podcast also to the presentation that Connor gave today, because we're here at OEIS and just getting to do a lot of cool stuff. So thanks for coming on, man.
Yeah, absolutely. Pleasure.